In this talk, I want to share with you my 30 years experience as a handball player, and I want to see whether there are some elements there which may benefit us in our lives, even if we're not handball players. So, which most of you are not. The first one, energy. I mean, it's self-evident. You need energy. You need to get stronger, faster, jumping higher. All this stuff. You gotta eat well. You gotta do everything to get the stamina and all things necessary. So, I mean, I worked on that. I started 10 years old, and I was always doing a little extra, thinking it takes a little more to make a champ and all that, So, I could train that alone, and I was doing it alone, always doing a little extra. So that was the first element. The second element, the PlayStation there. It's technique. It makes you move around. The better you get, the more moves you have, to get past the opponent and everything. So you need that, and then you need the technical skill with the hands. The more arsenal of movements you have there, the better. So being able to shoot like this, or jumping, or anything. So, and the thing is that the first 13 years or something, and even longer, I thought those were the two elements that were not only essential but sufficient in the game of handball. So until one day, I had a game against Barcelona. I was like 22. We were playing against Barcelona, one of the best teams in the world at that time, and I wasn't supposed to play that game, but I was ready. And then on game day, the coach, Þorbjörn Jensson, came to me and said, in the morning, on game day, said, Oli, the thing is, Julius, the guy in your position, he was supposed to come today, as you know, and due to his exams in the University of Iceland, but he's stuck in Heathrow, so he's not going to come. And you're the only guy we have, so you're going to play, man. And I was like, whoa, those were my role models there, the Spanish. It was the best team in the world. But I thought I was ready, man. I had the strength. I was around 80 kilos. I thought it was enough, which it wasn't. But I had that, and I had really good technical skill. I had been training, a lot in my basement, doing all the passes and everything, and shooting like crazy. So the game started, and I was there, and made my move, went past one Spanish guy, and I was ready to shoot, and then just, something happened, the next thing I know, I'm on the floor and seeing the ball where it was not supposed to be in my own goal. So what happened there? And again, and the next attack, the same, all over again, the whole game. And so we lose with 10 goals. I didn't make a goal that game. And I, having thought my glass was like, almost full, saw that, I realized that there were only a few drops there. And so I started to think, and I found out slowly, and the sad thing is that I had to find most of this out for myself, But of course, I had then later good coaches which helped me with those two elements that I've added there, which is, recognizing the fact that handball is not only those two first elements, it's about surrendering to the fact that handball requires the ability and the willingness to surrender to the unanticipated situation that the game brings on at every given instant. And the only way to train that is the only way to train this unconscious reactions is to repeat it over and over again. And you can only do that in dynamic relationship with others. It's the only way. And you have to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. So, with that, of course, and so yeah, that was my world before the game against Barcelona, or in the game against Barcelona. So that was my vision, because it wasn't enough for me just to get past one guy and then just the goalkeeper. So I made a really, for me at least, critical decision, and I said to myself that day, okay, I'm not gonna simplify the game of handball. I wanna take it all in. If I go past one guy, that means that somebody must be open somewhere, right? So where is that guy? And with that, acknowledgement or with that choice come more choices, So here I just have few choices, but embracing the whole game means that I have a lot of choices. And if I go past one guy, and the thing is, I can never anticipate, or I can never just pour my skills onto the game. I have to be reactive in a way. I have to sense what the defense is doing, and because somebody's always open somewhere, and somewhere is the right decision. And the more perspective you have, the more choices there are, and with it comes the fourth element, which is the stress management. It is, and the best way to tackle that is to create a certain skill of mindfulness, which Austin is going to talk about later. I'm not going to go into detail about that, but a certain, calmness in the things that you do. So the thing I learned there was that, experience is something you get shortly after you needed it. In my case, Barcelona. I could have used this before the game. So how can we relate this, or can this, what I found out, and then I spent the next 17, 15 years to develop that skill, can we use that in our daily lives? Is there something we're missing? And what I'm talking about there is that if we need energy. The better we eat, the more detoxic we are, the better. The brain functions, it's all connected, the brain and the body. So that's also self-evident, I think. The next thing, technique, in our lives, I would say, is knowledge. We're always collecting knowledge, we're collecting memories, and all that. And I think it's pretty much the same. We think those two things are just sufficient, which in my view, they aren't. So, yeah. So what's the? Why are we here? Does life have a certain pattern? So this is life's pattern. Okay, this is for me at least. I mean, it's not scientific or anything, or maybe it is, but this is the way I see life. This is the pattern of life. It's always about units hooking up with each other, creating harmony and creating bigger units, which then hook up with other bigger units. So, for example, the atoms, they hook up with other atoms. Harmony, they make compounds. The compounds make proteins. Proteins hook up and make for bacteria. Bacteria, they hook up, make party. They're all happy. They're in harmony. They're bonding. So they make up for a cell. And as we know, we're made of trillions of cells, all living usually in harmony. So, I mean, from that, isn't it the logical thing for us to do? To bond, It isn't more about survival of the fittest, like we're taught in the 6th grade when we're doing, and competing with our friends, which then don't become our friends anymore because we're competing with them always. So it's about the survival of the fittest. It's about the person who are able to heighten the frequency of the people around them to make them happier, to understand them. And what I'm saying with handball and this is that when we approach a person, and due to our insecurity, usually we just pour our connections onto them instead of just slowly relaxing, just as you have to do with the defense, instead of just doing things. You have to feel the defense, and then in calmness, feel what's the best possibility in each situation. So yeah, like Silja was talking about, I mean, I think we have to, just accept that life is like handball game. It's a really complicated thing, and that each person, and we have to deconstruct each person in a way, Because when you meet a person, that person is boiling with feelings, it's boiling with life and past and places that it has met and people that where it comes from, the background, all the knowledge that it has gathered. So instead of just, like I say, pouring our things with energy and our knowledge, just some knowledge we pour out to the people, we have to turn this a bit round. We have to just relax when we meet people, I think, you know, and we have to see what they have to say, you know, we have to sense them, and then when they have given us the first sign, either consciously or subconsciously or unconsciously, then our triggers can start to move. So, okay, that person want to talk about health or something. What do I have in my knowledge? So it's not about, just like what I'm trying to get through. It's not just I know how to give the ball like this, but if I don't know when is the right moment for that move, it becomes, you know, irrelevant. Dauður bókstafur, you know, something like this. So we have to develop that skill to just not only acquire knowledge, but to know how to pick up the relevant knowledge, which may be then beneficial to the person that is talking to us or we're meeting. So, like in Handball, we have to just, you know, and throw it at it, you know, something that is either similar or has some connection to the person. And you know, so and everything is dissolving in a way. There is no like thing Solveig and Viola are going to talk about. I mean, it's you know, disciplines are the walls are crumbling. It's all connected. Like people are, we all have something in common and something is diverse. But this is all becoming a mismatch, you know, and we just have to accept that fact and just come in terms with it. So basically what I'm saying, and I want to leave you with, is that there is a way to be focused, and we have to start believing that, you know, that we can both execute our daily tasks in full focus, you know, knowing what we want to, you know, get from the day, or we have to do some, you know, get through some challenges. But at the same time, I think we can develop the skill to, at the same time, live life poetically. That is, you know, sense all the things we want to sense, sense the feelings of the people, relate to the things, relate to our values, and that those things that it's not about either you're an artist or you're a scientist or something, or you're doing this, and it's supposed to be two guys, you know, walking through the woods in harmony, I think, or two girls or whatever, you know. So, yeah, that was it. Thank you.